Hello, guys. This is Jerry speaking. Welcome to LJPCBM React, episode number 573. And today we react to Purple Roads, episode 53. Charles Edward Hall, aka Santa Claus. Now, he's been doing this for how many years now? I can't remember. But anyway, let's react to this beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm Carrie Stinson, and my journey through life has been quite an adventure. For over 20 years, I played Barney the Dinosaur on tour and 7 seasons of the hugely popular TV show Barney and Friends. Now my journey is to bring together friends and guests from all over the entertainment world for inspiring and at times amusing behind-the-scenes conversation. I'm Carrie Stinson, and this is Purple Roads.
Wow.
Welcome to Purple Roads. This is so cool as we're here on Christmas, and there's no one more appropriate here to have than Charles Hall from Radio City Music Hall Christmas Spectacular. We have Santa Claus. How are you, Charles?
Merry Christmas. I'm doing well, thank you. It's so good to see
Wow.
you. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays.
Absolutely.
Mm.
This is just such a pleasure to have you on the show. I couldn't think of anyone more appropriate to have on, and in this time as we're still dealing with COVID, someone that's going to bring so much hope and joy in this crazy time.
Yeah. Well, that's the spirit of Christmas. That's the spirit of Santa Claus. And although we're not doing it the same way that we used to this year gives us an opportunity to think about the new year and what we're looking forward to.
Absolutely.
Exactly, Charles.
And give the gift of kindness. That would be the best thing for people to do now. Don't worry about how close you are to other people. Worry about what you can do good for someone to make
Right.
people joyful during the season. So, yeah, it's a new way, but it's like the Christmas toys. Every year there's a little something different, and there's a new this, and this year it's an enormous change, but you know Christmas will continue to be merry and jolly, and it will continue in some ways even more so to be more of a heartfelt
Mm.
Christmas of thoughts and memories, and an opportunity for
Mhm.
a lot of people like me who I've spent I guess the last 40 years of my life working on
Wow. 40. Okay, continue on.
Christmas Day. Um, so it's interesting the way the world works, and where the universe places you and at what time. So now it's Christmas.
Yes, it
Yes.
is, and I want to talk all about it. And I also want to talk about your book, Santa
Yes.
Claus is for real, which I love the title. I love the title. But I want to start kind of at the beginning because you were in theater for a long time,
Yeah.
which kind of built up to
Yeah.
Radio
Well,
City.
it's interesting. I'm in Kentucky right now,
Wow.
and this is actually where I started. And I tell people I've spent, the first half of my life trying to get out of Kentucky, and now
Wow.
I'm trying to get back into that. I'm a graduate of the university here. Um, yeah, I have a degree in theater, and I got
Mhm.
my first job in a union, Commedia dell'arte. Um, I worked early on with Commedia, mime, and mask, and which improvisation and all of those things kind of helped me. Uh, Obviously, with the Commedia dell'arte, and then after I finished that, I came to New York, or went to New York, and
Wow.
again, like I talk about in the book, it was a very dark time in New York, and it's almost like that
Wow.
now. They were going to close Radio City Music Hall. That was the year that I think President Ford said, New York go to hell, or and the
Wow.
crime was up, and it was just a very dark
Viewer discretion advised, ladies and gentlemen. And Carrie said the H word, but let's continue on.
time, and it was for me because I was a young kid looking for work in this big town, and I was as much as Scrooge as anybody.
Oh boy.
I mean, I was an actor. I was jealous. I was working hard, and I couldn't get ahead, and I couldn't make enough money, and I was struggling as an actor. So I felt, and being a classically trained actor, Ebenezer Scrooge was in my heart,
Wow.
like it was the whole city. The whole city was in a cloak of darkness,
Wow.
and um, I got the part of Ebenezer Scrooge in the Christmas show. Actually, before that, I got the part of the Wicked Witch.
Oh my God. Margaret Hamilton's about to get you for that. Continue on.
Walt Disney's uh, first Broadway musical at Radio City.
Oh, Jay! Continue on.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Oh, I thought it was Wizard of Oz for some reason. Continue on.
How amazing is that right there? You probably were just happy to have a job.
But I was working, making $5 a week, and I told myself, I said, I can't exist this way, so where is the money? And at that time, there were so many Broadway theaters closed that the only shows that were running were Broadway musicals.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, I was in a rock band. I sang in church. Hey, I can sing. So I auditioned, and of course, Snow White was a musical.
Wow.
And I was cast as the hag, the Wicked Witch.
Jeez.
And I didn't have to sing. Don Pippin was the musical director, and he let me sing with the dwarfs. So I got to be on the album. But that was a real turning point for me. That Radio City was, the renewing of Radio City.
Ow.
And saved it, and it was a wonderful experience. We had a national tour, and after that, I got a chance to do Barnum with Jim Dale, Glenn Close, and an opportunity to work with the great Joe Layton. And soon after that, I was working with Ben Vereen and Pippin.
Wow.
The revival of that, which was a real joy, and
What was it like to work with Ben Vereen?
it was wonderful. We had a great time together. We had a lot of laughs, and he was always on. And it wasn't as though, and Pippin is one of those just fabulous shows that so many people identify with, and always go back to, not just because of the music, but because of the whole concept of
Wow.
the players. And Ben was great. Ben also directed with the help of Mr. Fosse, who came by a few times.
Wow.
But it was a great experience. And then,
I got to stop you for a second, Charles. If the audience doesn't know these names that you're dropping, Fosse and Ben Vereen and all this, please look them up, because it's amazing how iconic you are for Santa Claus. But what you did in your early days is just, I'm blown away listening to this story.
Wow.
Well, and I was, like Ebenezer Scrooge, searching for that success, not just financially and with a job, and I keep going back to Scrooge because it was soon after that I was asked, because of my relationship with Radio City and Mr. Yanni, Bob Yanni, the great
Wow.
Bob Yanni, from Walt Disney, who created the Electric Light Parade, and
Wow.
just a phenomenal visionary. And he was the one that had the vision of doing Snow White at Radio City.
Wow.
It was very successful, and after that, he had brought in the first Christmas show as we know it. Before that, Radio City had of course, they had the Rockettes.
Wow.
And they had a number, and they had a group singers, but they never had a show like the Radio City Christmas. It was actually known, and that it started as the Magnificent Christmas Spectacular.
Wow.
And
what year was that?
81 maybe, 81.
Wow.
Because we finished Snow White in 80, 81 on the road, and then we came back, so it could have been 82, early 80s.
Wow.
And I had finished the tour at Snow White, and Tom Russinger, who was playing Ebenezer Scrooge, got another show and left for the last 2 weeks. So because Mr. Yanni and Frank Spencer, Frank Wagner, the director, knew my work from The Wicked Witch,
Wow.
I auditioned for Scrooge, and they brought me in to play Ebenezer Scrooge.
Wow.
And as I had been saying before, Scrooge had been in my heart. I knew
Wow.
Scrooge. I knew how he suffered. And I knew how that lost love and that broken heart.
Charles Dickens classics. Oh, excuse me. Charles Dickens classic. Continue on.
And how that replacement of things. And Scrooge taught me so many wonderful lessons, like being able to fall on my knees in front of 6,000 people and weep.
Wow.
And it's the most cleansing thing an actor can do, if you ever get a chance. But in the book, I talk about, I walk off stage one day and there's a stagehand, and he said, "Wow, Charles, that was really great how you did that. That was some really good acting."
Oh.
I said, Eric, I wasn't acting. It was real.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me to do the next year, but that's when I did Barnum and then subsequently Pippin. And then in 1987,
Okay.
an older character man, actor, John, long passed away, stopped me on the street. And he said, "Charles, you should audition for Radio City Music Hall because they want Scrooge, but they want someone to also play Santa Claus."
Oh, gee. That's where it all began. Continue on.
And it was like, well, I played Scrooge. I mean, who cares about Santa?
Wow.
And I auditioned for Ebenezer Scrooge, and of course I got the role. And then Bob Yanni walked over to me in the large rehearsal studio at Radio City, and he said, "Now, I want you to audition for Santa, to be Santa."
Ooh,
I
okay.
said, "Okay, well, show me the script and give me the sides, and I'll read." And he said, "No, there is no script. There are no sides.
No, I mean you're Scrooge.
I want you to be Santa."
Okay.
And it was at that moment that as a child I remembered my Uncle Walter.
Ooh.
And it's kind of opening up the book that Uncle Walter was a big man. And
Mm-hmm.
every Christmas, of course, they would come over Christmas Eve and we would exchange gifts. And I guess it was probably 1956 that they came over and everyone got in, and there was so much excitement that I looked out the window and there was a pack on the window, and there was Santa Claus.
Oh.
And I ran to get my brother, and I came back and I said, Tommy, I saw Santa Claus. And of course he was gone. And then I looked around, and Santa Claus again. Of course, as a child, I never realized that everyone was there in the house except Uncle Walter.
Right.
Wow.
And it was at that moment, and then of course later on Walter would come in, and it was like, oh, who cares, man? I saw Santa Claus. And he came into my mind, and I became Santa.
Wow.
And I don't know what I said or what I did. I have no recollection until I finished. And Mr. Yanni came over to me and he said, will you come back later today and read with Mrs. Claus's?
Man.
I said, yeah, I guess. I left the rehearsal hall, and then I came back, I knocked on the door, and I said,
Yay!
does this mean that I got the part? And he said, yeah, you got the part. So I became, in 1987, I became Ebenezer Scrooge and Santa.
Wow.
Two completely different roles, by the way.
Oh, the yin and yang of Christmas. Right. And that's kind of where I'm going. That's why I was Scrooge for a long time. And I wore that cloak of darkness that so many people wear now. They wear this cloak of darkness that's their cloak. And my truth is the only truth. And this is how you should be in my cloak of darkness. A show jacket, and they said, do you want Scrooge or Santa? I said, well, I want Scrooge. Who cares about Santa? And the more I started to do Santa, the more I shed my cloak of darkness and wore that armor of light that Santa gives me.
Wow.
And that we all have when we embrace the joy and goodness of Santa. And so the more I would do Santa Claus in the show, the more they would put Santa in charge. So pretty soon, Ebenezer Scrooge and Santa were pretty well balanced.
Wow.
And the more I would do Santa, like on one opening night, I was singing Jingle Bells for, as you know, they'll put a number in for me or for Barney or someone while they change the sets.
Wow.
The curtains close, and I went out and I did my little bit, my little monologue, and then the curtain was supposed to open.
Wow.
Opening night. And I went out and I sang Jingle Bells, and nothing happened. And I sang Jingle Bells again. Nothing happened. I had the audience sing Jingle Bells with me. Nothing. We had fun.
Right.
And it was that time that Santa took over. Totally improvised. I brought some children down. Santa did. I talked to the audience, and we laughed. Heartfelt. And then finally the stage manager from backstage over the intercom says, okay, Santa, I think we're ready to go. Opening night. All the critics, all the important people. Like Joel Siegel. And we did the show. And Joel Siegel gave me the best review of my life.
Wow.
And every time I saw him, otherwise, after that, for years, he would always remind me of that moment. And he said, if you don't believe in Santa Claus, you need to go to Radio City because that is the real Santa.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it was at that time, it was that moment that I found that armor of light, the power and the joy and the responsibility of Santa Claus.
Wow.
So after that, it was soon after that that I got a call, maybe in July or August, from the producers at that time, and they said, Charles, Ebenezer Scrooge is no longer in the show.
Wow.
And I said, oh no, what am I going to do? Do I still have a job? And that was the year that Bobby Longbottom took over for the show. And
Yeah.
really changed the show once again to where we are now. We've had lots of new numbers and lots of different directors, but
Wow.
The basis of the show became much more Broadway, and every year since, it always just gets better and better and better. Um,
Wow.
and as Santa, as I found, I like to call it, it's the power of one. By touching one person sincerely and lovingly,
Yeah.
in a theater, if you touch that one person, you can touch everyone. And that's part of the joy, as you know, of performing and creating and being part of a live situation, which is very difficult. And I think, so many people during this time in the holidays are suffering, and none more so than the live entertainment business.
Wow.
And that includes our restaurant friends and the theater, the stagehands, the actor, directors, costumers, on and on and on, everyone. Because there are no opportunities right now except for creative guys like yourself who are able to find a creating. That's what they're doing with films. I think that's why people get upset in the movie industry if you're not following the rules, because there's so much money in it.
Wow.
Um, so, in finding that, I think that you can also find it, as I do the book, which, you find yourself uh, believing in something positive and good.
Wow.
That if that belief is true and pure enough, and you mix it up with a lot of hard work, uh, uh, intelligence, then whatever it is that you believe in, as Santa has us believe, that it will manifest. It's the manifestation of belief. And that's the whole concept of the book, is believing.
Yeah.
I believed in myself the same way that you did. And you have to find that. You have to be able to believe in yourself.
Exactly.
So that you can help other people do the right thing, be the nice thing. Parents a lot of times will come to see Santa and they say, "Oh, said you tell him whether he's good or bad. Tell him whether he's good or bad." So Santa would say, "I don't do good and bad. That's not what I do. I do
So.
naughty and nice."
Yeah.
And Santa has taught me that, you know, uh, just because you're naughty doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Exactly.
Sometimes being naughty, you have to be naughty so that you can understand what being nice is.
Being
And,
nice is.
uh,
Exactly.
you know, there was a little boy that came to see Santa one time, and his mother was a very important person. And she came in and she said, you know, I just, Santa Claus, I need you to talk to my son, and he wants a magic wand,
Wow.
but like Harry Potter, but he doesn't want a toy magic wand. He wants a real magic wand. And Santa, I want you to tell him that he can't have that magic wand. That there is no magic. There's not. And Santa said, you know, uh, he doesn't need a wand. I told him,
Yeah.
you don't need a wand. In your heart, that's where the magic is. And you know, and that's true.
It is true. And
It's,
I love all this, Charles, because this is so much what we went through with Barney. That
yeah,
so many people, thought the message of love and all of that was phony. And I can't tell you over the years how many people have messaged me afterwards and said, "Oh my gosh, now I get it. I
Yeah.
totally
Still.
get what you're doing." And I think it's the authenticity, right? That you believe in what you're doing and you believe in the message.
you believing it. I
Wow.
can't lie. I'm a horrible liar. I mean, for an actor, I can't lie. I just can't lie. If
Still.
I do, it just comes right back to me, and I'm in more trouble. So I have learned that it's best not to lie,
Right.
and that includes to yourself. You know, you can't play any role, but especially iconic and respected roles that children and adults both look up to.
Wow.
You can't play those roles completely unless you feel it, unless it's real.
Absolutely.
You can act it, but if you feel it, um, and that's another thing that we learn from a lot of times the characters that we play.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that's so important that you say that, because these are roles that mean so much to kids
Mm-hmm.
that you can't act. I mean, it has to be authentic. It has to be true. And I'm curious with you. Did you realize from the beginning how important what you're doing was? The responsibility of what you were doing?
No, I did. I did.
You did.
And you know, again, I have not only have I performed for generation after generation after generation. I'm showing my age, but it's been a long time, and I've played to children's children,
Wow.
and I've gotten like letters and prayers and people that come to see me that you know I had a veteran come
Mm-hmm.
who had been wounded,
Wow.
and he wanted to see Santa Claus.
Wow.
And you know, and he came in and was wearing his uniform. It was amazing. Um, you know, and it's it's part of the spirit, and it's part of one's belief, and everyone thinks that they can, you know, be Santa, and they can. They can.
Wow.
It doesn't matter if you're a male or female or
Mm-hmm.
black or white or what color you are or race, creed, religion. It doesn't matter, because that's not what the real Santa is. The real
Exactly.
Santa is what comes from your heart. And that's why now, in these turbulent, uh, 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 strange times,
Mm-hmm.
now's the time to pull out that kindness card, that nice card, that's the greatest gift.
Still.
That's
So-
the greatest gift.
I have been as fortunate as well to get to perform the Radio City Music Hall. It is such an amazing place.
Isn't it?
Wow.
Isn't
You
it?
know from the second you walk in there how lucky you are, how blessed you are, how special it is.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for so many years.
Yeah.
Every year, do you just feel so fortunate to be to be at Radio City Music Hall, to be with the Rockettes?
Oh, and
And-
6,000 of my closest friends 3 or 4 or 5 times a day
Playing Santa.
playing Santa.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you know what? I tell you, life goes on outside there, and life goes on. But when I take that walk down to the sleigh, and once that sleigh goes out, it's magic time, you know. And I don't know. I go somewhere else. I'm somewhere else, which is actually the best thing for me to do as an actor because, and one of the having to do, and you as well, with such a long career in playing one character.
Barney.
You play that character for so long, you really get to know this person or this thing,
Yes,
this
yes.
character. You really get to know the inside and out, whether you discuss it with other people or whether because they'll probably think you're half nuts anyway.
Right.
If you say, you know, well,
Right.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
And
Yeah.
that's why, again, I would find myself many times in the dressing room
Mm-hmm.
as Santa, looking into my mirror and having heartfelt, deep discussions with Santa Claus.
Wow.
I sought his advice. I asked him what to do. As though, and in the book, as though it's the real thing, as though he is the real character because he is real to me.
Well,
Yeah.
he is real to me.
And
He's real to me as
I
well.
get so excited, and we've got teenagers here that, you know, as soon as we've gotten into this month, they want to watch the movies. They want.
yeah.
It just makes you happy, and it
It's,
brings
and
everyone
that's what it should
together
be. That's what it should be. It makes you happy to be joyful. You know?
Wow.
in such a pure way. I think that's the thing that's
Yeah.
so beautiful about it.
Yeah.
You know, I thought was so amazing that Macy's Day, the parade, and
Yeah.
everyone can't wait for Santa. It just doesn't change.
Wow.
It's so amazing. I can imagine the anticipation that everyone has when Santa's going to hit that stage at Radio City.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty awesome. And you know, again, to think, as you were saying, when you just to be walk into Radio City Music Hall and you see the art and the beauty and the restoration that has been done by in Madison Square Garden is just
Wow.
completely mind blowing. And to think that back in 1979, when I was the Wicked Witch,
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to tear it down.
Wow.
The Rockettes were on the street
It's hard to
asking
believe.
people to sign a petition to keep it open.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard to believe. Yeah, they were going to put a hotel up. They were going to keep the lobby open. So I feel like that not only that I'm part of that Radio City history, whether I want to be or not.
Wow.
You are, and such an amazing part of that. Talking about it, it's such a great transition here. I want to talk about what it's like to work with the Rockettes, because they are so amazing and professional and all these things. I want to hear what it's like.
Well, you know what? They are all of those things you said plus about 100. What I found, and you know, over the years, it's always been a lot of changes. But the ladies are, first of all, they're extremely professional.
Yeah.
They work harder than anyone.
Mhm.
I couldn't. I've had to do kicks with them, and I've actually hurt myself trying to
Well.
do kicks with them. I learned that a long time ago. But I've also found that when we do publicity and when we're doing things together, uh, they're smart, but they're really funny. They
Still.
their sense of humor, their wit, uh, and I miss them. I miss all my Christmas family this year. I really do.
Yeah.
I thought that they did a great job with Christmas and the lighting of the tree and the Thanksgiving Day parade, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they're. Well, I know they're still dancing. They're doing lessons online, and
Mhm.
they're great to work with. Very professional, and with that type of show, there's no room for uh, playing around.
Yeah.
And it's that way really on all the shows these days because of technology. It's so technology driven
Mhm.
that there's not a whole lot of leeway that you really have to stay on, and especially with the magnificent stage over there with 3 floating elevators and band cars,
Mhm.
and as you know,
Yeah,
it be
it's
very
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, well, it's like a whole city. Yeah, and they'll be back bigger and better than ever too after the
Well,
show.
Still.
and I'm
After the
glad
show.
you said that. Just wait till you're back.
Mhm.
Everyone is going to be so excited to be out again. I think we're going to have such a new appreciation
Mhm.
I think so too.
for being together.
Yeah, and that you know, I think whether we think about it or not, we miss the interaction of people with people and other people.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great, but uh, to feel the people that doing 4 shows a day,
Mhm.
and people say, do you get tired of it, and or how do you keep doing it, and it's like every show is new. It's a new audience. They have not seen the show. And so and that's, and my performance depends a lot on that audience because there's that ebb and flow with the audience,
Right.
where it
Mm.
gets into my theory about the power of one. When I come through the audience, a lot of times people will specifically want seats where I come out because they'll hand me their baby.
Wow.
And I'll take the little baby and hold it up, and sometimes the baby will be, great, and other times the baby is like, what?
Right.
And it doesn't
Uh,
really matter because in that moment, the the love that I have for the child and being there
wow.
is spread through. I mean, it's felt. It's felt through that. And again, it gets back to being heartfelt and believing in what you're doing.
Well, and you understand what I learned for all those years.
Yep.
Barney can't be sick. Barney can't be tired. Barney can't be mad. Barney
No.
can't.
No.
You,
Yeah.
you have to just, as you said earlier, you go away, right?
Right.
And really, Carrie just
You
becomes
leave
Barney.
that backstage, and
That's right.
in the dressing room.
So I know exactly how you could do 4 shows because you understand, all this audience can't wait to see Santa. Santa's
Sweet Beauty Santa. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
I've done 5 shows a day.
Wow.
Wow.
I can't do it anymore. It's too much, and also my role has changed throughout the years.
Wow.
It's not like if it's Scrooge and Santa, where Santa would come on and do one number.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, I'm pretty much working the whole show. So, um, and as they give me more things to do, but it's always a joy to do it. No matter how many times, it's always a joy to do it, and it's always a joy to share the Christmas spirit with the people in the audience because they want to be there and they want to celebrate Christmas.
Wow.
And we will, and we do.
Absolutely.
You know.
Have you had the chance to do meet and greets or to meet with individual kids, and what is that experience like for you?
Well, yeah. Occasionally, with that many shows a day, it's very
Right.
difficult. I do a lot of Garden of Dreams
Wow.
children, and a certain amount of celebrities with their children that that see the show, that publicity will have them
Right.
come back. And but as far as the public, I don't see the logistics of the theater and my dressing room and so many shows. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I see a lot of celebrities because they like to come to the show,
Yep.
like everyone every year, and enjoy it. And I'm always happy to.
Well, you probably learned. I did that when we were at Radio City, which was mind blowing. That
Huh.
Rosie O'Donnell and John Bon Jovi, you name
Wow.
it,
Right.
Don Travolta all want to see Barney.
You're right.
And I learned so quickly, they're just parents.
Well.
Well,
They're absolute. Yeah. To me, it's John Travolta, and that's really cool. But
Yeah.
he just became a parent for the moment.
Wow.
And I
And
thought that was amazing.
that's exactly what I said the other night. That when I was coming down to the sleigh and I saw these two little
Mhm.
adorable twin boys in the hallway.
Oh.
But it had been a long day and a lot of shows, and I walked by and they saw me, but there was no big to do or anything. But they definitely saw me,
Right.
Wow.
and I passed them by and went to the sleigh. I said, you know what, I can't do this. I got out of the sleigh and I went back down there to those two little twin boys, and I sat on the step with them, talked to them, and then from the corner of my eye, I see this little guy come out wearing tight black jeans, and I look up and I saw
Wow.
a little black vest, black shirt, and a black horn-rimmed glasses, a little black hat. And my monkey mind is going, oh my gosh, that's Elvis Costello. And
Wow.
my monkey mind is going, oh my God, I love your music. I have Veronica on my tape. I love it all the time.
Jeez.
My monkey mind, not my Santa mind. Because, like you said, I didn't see him as a rock star. I saw him as a father, as a parent. And
Wow.
it was such a sweet moment. And I felt so good because I didn't I love your music. And
I had that experience. I was leaving a show at Radio City Music Hall, and production came to me. I was the last one leaving for the night, and they said, Kerry,
Oh.
can you do a meet really quickly? And I said, sure. So we went, we came out, and here's this child.
Wow.
I look up, and it's the drummer for U2. And I'm a huge
Wow.
fan of U2, and
You two is amazing. Continue on.
I'm like, the same thing.
yeah,
But he's smiling about his child getting to meet
yeah,
his hero, and it just puts it all in perspective.
it does.
I'm with you. I was calm too, so I was very proud of myself. But yes, you have those moments,
Yeah.
but you realize they're
Mm.
just parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of fun.
Still.
So tell me about the book. Where did this come from? The idea,
Well,
putting this
you know
all
what?
together.
Everyone had been telling me to write a book.
Hmm.
And it was like, write a book about their stories. That's kind of where it started. And then as I got into it, I started thinking, my life in Christmas.
Wow.
Because Christmas, as an actor, it's almost like having a steady job, that
Mhm.
and that's what I tell young actors is that you need to find a long run. You need
Wow.
to find a Les Mis or a Christmas show or a Phantom or something that's gonna work you for a while. And as years and years, people would talk to me about, oh, you should write about the story with so and so, or when so and so came, or the stories that happened to you.
Mhm.
And I started doing the stories, and then as it started as a memoir, we started writing
Wow.
that. And then my editor over at the Simon Schuster said, can you write this as a fable, like a Christmas fable,
Wow.
so that adults can read it and get the message, but so that children can also read it or have it read to them, and
Mm.
and never give up the disbelief of Santa, having Santa
Wow.
is real, which is again my subconscious that I would talk to in the mirror. In the book, becomes a real character. He becomes this magical character that guides me. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, it has to do with my family and my father and
Mm-hmm.
believing in yourself as a kid that was
Wow.
made fun of or bullied. That I found a place for me to go. I found something to believe in. As
Wow.
Joseph Campbell, one of my favorite guys, Joseph Campbell would say, "Follow your bliss," and that's my bliss. I followed my bliss, and it was just completely blissful. It hadn't been always easy, but that's what the book is about. It's about that that time that a kid growing up in Kentucky, was
Wow.
bullied and made fun of and had difficulty finding his place. And I found my place in my imagination. And on that cold, snowy, wintry day in
Wow.
1957, when my brother couldn't run outside with me because he was sick,
Wow.
and that was the night that I met Santa and my
Wow.
life changed.
Wow.
Wow.
So, and little did I know, I was not aware. I was not, I knew, but I didn't know. So the only thing I could do was to follow my bliss, and allow the universe to guide me in the path that I should be. And that's what led me to playing Santa. And
Wow.
then not playing it, and then going beyond that, and actually becoming, I mean, people yell at me on the street in the middle of July, and I'm not wearing an outfit, and it's like, yo, Santa!
Wow.
And it's like, hey, Merry
Jeez.
Christmas. Uh, so, and then like we were talking about earlier, is that, you have that moment when you actually understand uh, the power that you have, that people, what they want, and what you can do for them, and it's not just being an actor or being Santa Claus.
Right.
Every person, everyone can do that in their own way. Just because it was,
Mm-hmm.
we're on stage in front of people and all, and
Mm-hmm.
it's no more special than the person that works at Starbucks.
Wow.
It's the kindness and joy,
Right.
and that's what the book is about. It's about all the things that happened to me at Radio City, good and bad. There was a stagehand that my first year, he tried to hurt me when pulling the sleigh, and
Wow.
tried to pull it fast and hard to see if he could hit my head or knock my hat off. And
Wow.
yeah, and he would always smack my ball, and I mean, I was a young man, and he bullied me, and actually was gonna wait out. He told me, he said, "I'm gonna wait outside the stage door for you. I'm gonna get you." And through
Jeez.
the whole show, young kid,
Right.
like going, "Geez, this guy is gonna like beat me up." It's like, what's wrong with this? And I walked outside the stage door, and all the stage hands were waiting for me,
Wow.
just waiting for me. Hey, Charles. Good night, Charles. See you tomorrow, Charles.
Wow.
It was, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and and that's what the book is about. It's
Mm-hmm.
the stories.
Okay, I'll be right back. I have to get Eldrin me out. We will be swimming position as soon as I come back from DoorDash orders. I am back, folks. I am so sorry. I just don't know what else to do. I just ate an entire lunch for DoorDash. It's called Zaxby's, by the way. And what I like to do now is when I completed DoorDash orders episode 13, this is the last one until 2021. I may have to do is complete that DoorDash orders and edit this and the whole simple thing. Let's just see what happens. But anyway, let's continue this episode with a 5-second clip back. Continue in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And that's what the book is about. It's about the stories about me becoming Santa.
Do you have
Wow.
a favorite story about becoming Santa?
I have a couple, but probably my favorite one is the Joel Siegel story, because it's just that night. You know, when nothing is working around you and you're stuck out there with 6,000 people.
Wow.
And
Ow.
it's you know,
Yeah.
when they say actors die many deaths, that could have been one, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because something magical happened to me in that moment. That's when I realized I am Santa Claus, dude. You know,
Wow.
I really am.
Wow.
I believe now. You know, now when I have that jacket, I don't want Scrooge on it. No, I want Santa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud to be Santa.
Exactly.
I learned a lot from Santa. You know, people have asked me in interviews, they say, you know, does Santa ever have a bad day?
Mm-mm.
And I said, no, Charles has bad days,
Right.
but Santa doesn't.
Mm.
And again, Santa is always there, as he is for you and anyone else who believes, to pull me up by my bootstraps and get me going in the right direction.
Exactly.
You know, be nice. You know when you're nice and you know when you're naughty. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Right.
I do.
So-
And I have to watch it because, you know, I like to be funny, and sometimes funny is dangerous business.
So,
You know?
comedians
It's
are.
like electricity. You can hurt people. You can cause harm to them. And Santa doesn't want that.
Mm-mm.
Santa wants you to be nice and joyful. You know, Santa wants you to be nice to your little brother or your big sister or your mom and dad. You know, that it's all part of it. And again, if you want to get deeper than that, then you can bring in the whole religious aspect.
Sure.
And children know that as well. Children don't need. There's nobody's perfect except Jesus and Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's a lot to live up to.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know,
Absolutely.
and that's why you know, with the season, with the heightened emotion of celebration,
Mhm.
the heightened emotion of the birth of Christ, that is a guy that, you know, didn't live that long and never traveled 200 miles, never wrote a book, never did a TV show, never had a podcast,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
but yet every army and time after time, and that still goes on. And you can't have Christmas and Santa Claus without embracing that. And you don't have to be a Christian or Methodist. You know, I have so many Jewish friends that love Christmas and love Santa Claus, and they're always kind of joking with me. Say, well, you know, we're Jewish, but we love Santa Claus and we do Christmas. And I tell them, I said, you know what? Most of the elves are Jewish.
Wow.
You know, most of my elves. So we embrace you to embrace Christmas,
Wow.
and that's what it is. You know, they understand the happy and the joy.
Right.
And you know, the book is a quick read, and it's a happy Christmas book. And
Yeah.
people seem to like it, and we have an option on it with MGM Film Studios.
Oh, wow.
So
Mm-hmm.
we're fingers crossed with that, and hoping that Christmas will be bigger and brighter and more joyful in the years to come.
You know, every year, every time I got to play the role of Barney in front of kids, and I got to do the "I Love You" song, it was the most special. I knew what was coming as
Yeah.
soon as the music started.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew what was coming, all the love and all of that. Is there a moment for you as Santa in the show that you know something magical is getting ready to happen?
Um,
Like something that you get excited about?
you know, yeah, there are a lot of things that I get moments. When I come in through the audience is again because of the energy. I'm there in the audience with them. They're handing me a baby, so
Wow.
I never know what's going to happen.
Right.
And that, the show is double cast. We have two different casts. We have two companies of Rockettes. I have three Mrs. Clauses. I have three sets of boys that I work with. I have four conductors. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I I never know sometimes. I'm not very good at listening to. I'm having too much fun in my dressing room with
Wow.
my helpers, uh, and it's in that moment. It's in the magic moments where I don't know, and if I expect the magic, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times it won't be there.
Wow.
But it might be somewhere else.
Right.
So
Okay.
I never know, and sometimes working with children, with the two boys in the show, the older brother and who's in charge of the little brother, and they're looking for a gift, and they have the conflict. One believes and one doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes just in the moment something is different or something happens, and it
Mm-hmm.
just becomes magical. A lot of the moments in the show that I find magical are because uh, I'm working with the audience.
Wow.
I'm reminding them to intertwined in my Christmas story. I'm reminding them to turn their cell phone.
Excuse me.
Little fun jokes that I can do with the audience that's not, uh, you know,
Mm-hmm.
on the whole stage with a lot of gear and a lot of technology. But I would have to say that every show is magical. There are just some moments that
Mm-hmm.
are more magical than others, and you just don't know where they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And again, a lot of it depends on the audience. That's it. Yeah, I can go on stage and now I'm doing my monologue, and I got some guy yelling at me or talking, Santa
Wow.
Claus,
Right.
bring me a present. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
and I'll 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 react to them. I'll acknowledge them,
Wow.
and that's where the magic happens. Is that when uh, when something happens that you can play with. But throughout the show, there are always even with doing it over and over again, is sometimes I'll watch the Rockettes from the wing. Not sometimes, all the time. I'll watch the Rockettes from the wing doing one of these numbers
Mm-hmm.
that they do, 4 times a day,
Mm-hmm.
and and then I watch, 4 times a day from the wing, and I'll see them, and not only do I see their dancing, but I see their eyes and their faces and their
Mm-hmm.
energy, and it's magic all over again. And
Wow.
it's like, geez, I've been watching this. I've watched it 24 times already this week,
Right.
and all of a sudden they're doing the same thing, but something's magic about it. Something's happening,
Jeez.
and that happens all the time during the show. It drives the show. Uh, and and then with the changing of ensemble and dancers, and So it's one big magical moment. And again, once I don't know about you, but once I got in that sleigh and I took off for the show, it was over. I mean, just the pace of the show, the audience, the music. All of a sudden, it's like I'm going to my dressing room to eat something to get ready for another show.
Wow.
Right. Charles, I can't thank you enough. I haven't stopped smiling this whole time.
Well, I hope I haven't bored you with my stories or.
You have not. It's with what's okay. Even if this wasn't going on, I'd be smiling because just getting to talk to you is so special. But I think it's just so wonderful what you've done, and I want to kind of finish by saying how you probably didn't see this keep going. I mean, just every year, it's got to be amazing to.
It is.
Right, this has been over 30 years now. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's.
Wow, 30 years. Yeah. At the beginning of the episode, you said 4 for some reason, and now Kerry said 4. He said 30. Continue on.
This would have been 34 years.
Wow.
And and that's why the first title of my working title on the book was My Life in Christmas.
Wow.
Because when I was studying acting, and I'm sure a lot of young actors out there are familiar, well, they should be familiar with Stanislavski, Konstantin Stanislavski, father of method acting. And he wrote a very famous book called My Life in Art.
Wow.
And every theater student that I know, including myself and my friend Ken, professor, when we were students, you had to read this book. And of course, none of us could get through it. It was just big, thick, on and on. And when I was doing Snow White as the Wicked Witch, I bought that book.
Wow.
And I read it because that's what the book is about, a long run.
Wow.
And it's how you can keep that character healthy and new and magical, so that you can always be open to that. And after reading that book, it helped me to work and try to do my best work at every show, no matter how many shows. I'm always nervous when I go. I've always, it's like, wow,
Wow.
I hope I can do this. And then the sleigh goes, and
Wow.
I'm hiding behind the big man in a red suit. But it is quite amazing, and I'm very fortunate and blessed. Again, I have, people that still get in touch with me from Snow White.
Oh wow.
An audience member. He's actually a filmmaker now and done
Wow.
a documentary on Bob Yanni. He came from Philadelphia
Wow.
with his father, who was a policeman, who had free tickets. And he came, and after seeing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and the Wicked Witch, it changed his life.
Wow.
And I know this because he's now a friend of mine. We've been in touch, and I did the documentary with him.
Wow.
He's told me, it's like, you changed my life by watching you and seeing what you can do. It's the same way another, and then I won't drop any more names, but, I won't say his name. He's going to be a movie star, Anthony. I'll tell you that. His name is Tony. And when Tony was one of the singers at Radio City at the Christmas show, he would come to my dressing room. He's a Puerto Rican fellow, and he would come talk to me from the Bronx, and he told me, he said, you know, Charles, I saw you when I was a little kid in school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the schools would get the balcony seats.
Right.
And he said, I remember, he said, I looked at you and he said, you know what? I want to be like him. I want to do that. I want to be like that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And now this kid is telling me this.
Right.
That's how long I've been doing it. He's telling me this. So that same day, right before the show, we're in the back together, and I told him, I said, you know, Anthony, there's all those little Spanish boys out there
Wow.
in the audience tonight. They're watching you, and they're saying, you know what? I want to be like that guy.
It's amazing how it all comes full circle.
It does, and now Anthony's a big movie star.
Wow.
I love it. Well, I know we all can't wait for you to get back to work.
You know what? It'll be there in the blink of the eye.
It will.
It'll be there. You know, that's why prepare now. Prepare for the future.
Absolutely. And I just cannot thank you enough for being here with us.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. I know a lot of people are like me, going to be alone at Christmas, and it's okay. Take that time to meditate, count your blessings.
Absolutely. And know that Santa Claus is here with us.
Yeah.
And you know what? Santa will find you no matter where you
Exactly.
are. I've got a lot of helpers. I'm very fortunate. I have a lot of helpers. You can never have too many helpers.
Still.
Well, thank you so much, Charles.
Thank you, Gary. It's great. Merry Christmas and Merry Christmas to everyone. Thanks for giving me the time. And it's a great stocking stuffer.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And I tell you now, I'm going to go out and get it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
God bless.
Christmas. Thank you all for watching Purple Roads. Have a Merry Christmas. Remember to keep your eyes, ears, and your heart open, and you'll find your Purple Road. We'll see you next week.
So that was Purple Roads, episode number 53. Charles Edward Hall, Santa at Radio City, Christmas Spectacular. Excuse me. What did I think about this episode? It was amazing. So far, this episode went to be a success. Anyways, guys, that was episode of Elgin Reacts, episode number 53. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be episode 54 of that Purple Rose episode, which is Mr. Rogers, Puppeteer, and all the Muppeteers. Something like that. It depends. We'll see. But it starts at 3 p.m. But anyway, till next time, salute, Jarvis, goodbye, peace out, baby. We get more to react to guys very soon. Till then, LJPCBM out. See ya.
Given unto me this life I'll never take for granted, and given all the time I failed to really understand it, I never sought to meet the maker of reality, the one who gave the life that which is always happening, but I tried all the time. Why me? Why was I the one to see things as I do under the moonlight and the sun? Perception is the question, and the giver holds the key.